Way to be ready. This is Ray Ray's fault. He went all the way till like 1:30, which is when I wanted to start my show. Now fucking Web Dave is on. Fucking jerk. He doesn't even deserve to get me to watch this show. Just kidding. I have his show on in another window. Right here. Jerks. I'm gonna have it on in the background, but I'm gonna have it on mute. But I also did want to talk about the fucking goddamn console price increase, which I can't believe is a thing that's still happening. But that's something I want to talk about later. I try not to just talk about gaming news because I really just want to talk about adaptation news, but sometimes it's hard. There's just nothing to talk about in terms of adaptations. There's just not like news every day like there is for the actual industry itself. So bad at this. I'm just gonna keep saying how bad I am. I'm never gonna actually get better at it though. I need to like edit these after and remove the part where I suck. See, I'm already in the wrong page. What did I want to go talk about again? Yeah, this here. Over here on Mob.com, which I've never actually heard of, but the report itself, new data from Ampere Analysis, which is a page that I'm going to look at after, reveals that television adaptations of games are delivering some of the most significant boosts in player numbers. In many cases, surpassing movie adaptations. So this is more about the TV than the movie. That's interesting too. Franchises like Fallout and Last of Us have seen multiplier gains in player engagement after their screen debuts, providing a model increasingly attractive to both game publishers and streaming platforms alike. Massive growth figures. Fallout's TV series launching on Amazon Prime Video in 2024 nearly quadrupled its monthly active users with a 490 increase over pre-series levels. Around 80% of that growth came from players new to the franchise. 80%. That's a huge number actually. 80%. See, I didn't actually know that's how many of them were newbies. 80%. Like, come on, people. This is just something that was obviously automatically going to happen, and it was something that I knew was going to happen too. If a show or a movie blows up for a franchise, people are going to go want to check out that franchise, whether they heard it before or not. HBO's 2 seasons of The Last of Us boosted the franchise by about 150 engagement on average. For comparison, later game releases like Last of Us Part 2 Remastered generated more modest rises. Yeah, it shouldn't generate any rises because they keep fucking re-releasing it. Greedy ass motherfuckers. A clear difference, movies versus TVs. On average, TV adaptations yield a 203% player uplift. In contrast, movie adaptations deliver close to 48%. Even shows with relatively low popularity strikes, such as Devil May Cry's anime, peaking at only the most 58 watch TV show in April, still saw 358 growth in players month over month. I live in a loud neighborhood. I try to keep the door open so I can breathe. More than just new players. Some of the boosts come from reactivating lapsed players. For example, Minecraft saw 30% increase in MAUs with its movie release in April 2025, including a large share of returning players. Retention strategies also play a key role. Sony's handling of the Last of Us franchise through remasters and expanded availability helped maintain 20% of its new peak engagement after 180 days. Who's in the chat? Are you there? D? Come on, if you're there, get on the show. You know you want to. I don't understand why I can't just look to see who's on watching my show easily. What it means going forward, this is the best part. Ampere's findings suggest that TV adaptations are one of the most powerful tools available for game publishers to seek audience expansion. Another huge duh, okay? This is why so many more adaptations are being announced, because they're finally like, okay, you know what, guys? I think I just realized something. When we release a show based on a game, that game suddenly gets more popular. No stinking shit. With 7 more adaptations in the pipeline, including Call of Duty, Life is Strange, and God of War, this trend looks like it to continue. Other than Call of Duty doesn't need any more promotion to make more money. Like, they make enough money. I'm sick of Call of Duty. But oh wait. So this actual report comes directly from a site called Ampere Analysis, I guess, which I've never actually heard of. Okay, what? Yeah, so right here, I guess this is the guy that reported on it. I don't know why we need to see his face sticking right there, looking at us all weird and shit. But this is their actual report based on with a graph that I put on my thumbnail. But as it says, like I already said, but I'm going to just say it again. Adaptations of games drive average player growth almost 140. After Prime, nearly 500%, while HBO has got more than 4 million new players. But an actual graph, if you can see pre and post, with the blue being pre, pink or whatever you want to call that being the post. So everyone got a huge boost, but Minecraft and specifically Fallout, that was the one that got the biggest boost, which I love because I love Fallout, the series. Interesting that Halo didn't get that big of a boost. Halo was didn't work out, kind of a bomb. It definitely got better in season 2, but then they canceled it, and they canceled it on a cliffhanger, which is annoying. But I still think it has a chance to be resurrected. Devil May Cry had a pretty big boost. Last of Us, Borderlands. Everyone had a boost, even though it wasn't much. Gran Turismo had like the smallest 10% boost. But who the F actually plays Gran Turismo anyways? Like, do you play it as a joke or do you play it seriously? Fallout screen debut on Amazon Prime delivered record growth for the franchise. The series lifted MAUs by 490%, 80 of the 14 million playing for the first time. By contrast, Fallout 76 DLC updates in June and December increased MAUs by just 17% on average. HBO's 2 seasons of Last of Us propelled the show to top of Amphara's total popularity charts, increased franchise engagement by an average of 150. In comparison, the remastered release of The Last of Us Part 2 on PS5 and additionally The Last of Us Part 1 on the PS Plus catalog increased monthly players by 70 to 29%. Even shows with modest popularity still see an uplift from a TV adaptation. Netflix anime adaptation of the series peaked as it only the 58th most popular show on TV in April 2025, but still delivered a 358 increased players versus the previous month. Moreover, even perennially popular games such as Minecraft grew with media adaptations. Minecraft already accounted for between 1% to 2% total gameplay across Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam. Yet MAU still increased to 30 with the release of the Minecraft movie in April 2025. Over half were reactivated lapsed players. So players that were playing it went back to it. Which is another big benefit. Coordinated cross-media activity is also key, with ongoing game architectures and supporting retention. For example, Sony kept the Last of Us franchise active through a strategy of remasters and wider availability. Would I call that a strategy? But at least they did something while the show came out. Like they're definitely like I said before with the first season of Fallout, they truly were not expecting how popular it would end up being and how much it would spike the games. So they're smartening up. And when it comes out in December, season 2, they're going to have some stuff ready in Fallout 76. They didn't have anything ready last year or anything really worth mentioning. They just didn't think it was going to blow up as well as it did, but they learned their lesson. Sony kept The Last of Us active through a strategy of remasters and wider availability, helping retain 20% of players 180 days after the game's peak engagement. Media adaptations are superchargers for the player base's gaming franchise. Okay, the bottom of this sentence is the same as the one in the previous article. Although it says Call of Duty, Life is Strange, and then Dark Deception. I don't know what the hell is Dark Deception. That sounds like the part of a title. Something, Dark Deception. Over here they said Call of Duty, Life is Strange, God of War. Over here they say Call of Duty, Life is Strange, Dark Deception. What the fuck is Dark Deception? Is that a game? Weird. I didn't hear anything about this. Kind of just looks like a darker Freddy got fingered. Freddy, whatever the fuck, 5 Minutes at Freddy's type game, which is a game I've never played. But here we have an example of. I want this fucking thing to stay lit like your mama's tit. Why did Xbox raise the price of their console again? I'm going to type in the Xbox price increase because that's what I also wanted to talk about, only because it is pretty a big news in gaming. even though this is not adaptation related, but I wanted to see what the AI. I want to see what the AI summary says. Just when I asked this question, as it bases it on a bunch of different replies, Microsoft has announced another price increase for its Series X and S, effective October 3rd. Changes in the macroeconomic environment. What the fuck does that mean? Macroeconomic? I didn't even know that was the thing. Is that a word? Macro and economic environment. What does that mean? Refers to the overall condition of an economy, encompassing broad factors, or encompassing a psychotic orange-faced piece of shit who can't decide what the fuck is up or down, creating unbelievable financial fuck up all over the entire fucking world. Piece of shit like that. You're just such a piece of shit. I fucking hate the piece of shit president of America. He's a fucking piece of shit. And if he fucking sees this, he's probably gonna cancel me because he's that big of a loser to do something like that to someone like me. He's a fucking pathetic pile of shit. Any Americans watching this, I fucking hate your president so much. It's unbelievable how much I hate him. And you should hate him too. If you don't, then there's something wrong with you. After having so much fun with ChatGPT last Saturday, I just want to see what it says with the same thing that I Googled. Because maybe it'll give me a more interesting answer. I don't even know what the tariff situation is anymore with other countries because they're basing this back from May, but they only just officially announced it today. This Reuters article is from May, and considering tariffs are so off and on and adjusted and based on however that thing feels on that day, so wait, they raised the price in May and then they're raising it again in October. That's even worse. I didn't remember they were raising it. They raised it earlier this year. So they fucking raised the price already once this year. That's fucking sick. Like, that's just gross. Like, that's something Sony and Nintendo would do, but when Xbox does it, I don't know. I mean, I guess this was how Nintendo or Sony people feel the same way. Oh, well, Sony fucking raised the price on their PlayStations only because Xbox did it, and Xbox are greedy. No, Sony's fucking greedy. And now Xbox is like, all right, well, then if they're going to do it, we're going to do it. And we're just going to say it's tariffs, whether it is or not. So this is from back in May. The Series X went up by 100, which is just a fucking insane price increase as well. 100, not just 50, something, slightly less crazy, but no, 100. This is just a couple weeks after PlayStation did it. Now the piece of shit console 5, Pro 5 is around 700. Gaming consoles are expected to be the biggest driver of growth for the game industry this year. Still, I thought consoles were like basically dying out, according to everybody. Unless you suck its dick, it's going to just tariff anyone who doesn't suck its dick. Like his dick needs to be sucked for anyone to deal with him. If no one gives him anything, he won't give you anything. That's how it works. That's how its brain works in terms of business. I get what I want, or you get nothing. Supply chain and component inflation, costs for chip stores, circuit boards have gone up globally. Rises in raw materials, logistics, shipping across the chain amplify these costs. Weakening margins. With rising costs and tariffs, maintaining older pricing erodes profit margins. Microsoft appears to be adjusting to project profitability. Sure doesn't Xbox. What's up, Young Dreads? Thanks for being here. Inflation, exchange rates, and overall volatility in the global economy are also mentioned as contributing factors. Microsoft is positioning the hikes as a response. Yeah, I'm just talking about the Xbox console price increase. Now you're a moderator. Not that it matters. No one comes here. It's all Web Day's fault. He doesn't normally have a show on Saturdays, and now he just does. So all those amazing viewers I was going to get, he stole from me. All three of them. Well, at least this time the price increase is not as severe as in May. The Series S is going to go up by 20. X is going to go up by 50, though. Why is X going up by 50? And the S is only going up by 20. You have your own Discord server? I may already be part of it. I don't know. I have a Discord too, but like I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. Just randomly post stuff in it. I just have a Discord just to have a Discord. It makes me look cool. Yeah. See, here you go. This is good. I'm gonna hit yes, and ChatGPT is gonna give me all this stuff that I don't need to Google. Tell me this is not at least something useful that ChatGPT can do. So it asked me if you wanted to pull up company compares with price increases from Nintendo or Sony, or whether the price changes are happening everywhere else. Want me to dig that up? And I said yes. Here's a comparison of what Sony and Nintendo have done recently, plus how their reasons stack up against Microsoft. Sony has raised the price of the PS5 consoles in the US by about 50, citing tariffs and challenging economic environment. This is from August 20th Forbes article. They've increased prices of PS5 and other markets early in 2025 for the same basic reasons. The only real reason is greed. Whether you want to say it's challenging or not, it still all comes down to greed. All of this is based on someone's greed. LOL same and yeah until you get traction. Yeah, I don't know. I just try to open up any avenue I can to help promote my channel. But that's not why I'm on Ray Ray's show, according to what Slim the retard was saying. I'm not on anyone's show to use them. I was watching Ray Ray's show for a long time, and I never once was trying to get him to promote me in any way at all. In August 1st, 2025, Nintendo raised the price of the original Switch models in the US. Standard Switch, Switch Lite, Switch OLED. The standard piece of shit Switch. See, that's even just gross in itself. The Switch is 2 years off from being a 10-year-old system. So an 8-year-old system or 7, or depending on how you add. I just go by the fact that Switch came out in 2017, early 2017. And they're raising the price on something that old. I don't even get how they can be allowed to do that, honestly. That should be against the law. If a console or a system of some sort has been out for like 8 years, you shouldn't be allowed to raise the price on it. The OLED went from $349, $399, Switch Lite $199, $229, and of course, I'll say the same thing. Just market conditions, tariffs, recent U.S. tariffs, including some from Vietnam. Yeah, they should just like make Nintendos and Xboxes and PlayStations in America. That'll totally lower the price. You can grow microchips. Just tell the administration that you can actually grow microchips on trees, and they'll believe you and start trying to do it. How they can bear a shared theme. What's increasing? Series X, all consoles, timing, twice in 2025. Yeah, that's the part that I'm just like, okay, that's nuts that they did it in May, and then only a few months later they're doing it again. Like to do it that close back to back in the same year. I mean, that's, and again, we all know why this is really happening. Because why are they raising prices now in 2025 when, you know, even back when that thing was the president the first time, this didn't happen. So why is it happening now? Back then, we were still in the Xbox PS4 era. And I don't recall those things going up in price. They definitely went down. This pattern is consistent across all three major console makers. Tariffs, rising input costs, macroeconomic pressure, inflation, supply chain are pushing up prices. Xbox increase is more aggressive or recurring, perhaps because its cost base or exposure to impacted components manufacturing locations is especially vulnerable. Nintendo is doing something unusual, raising the price of older generation, not just older, fucking older, after the release of newer generation, but historically tends to lead to discounts or price drops. This suggests the pressure from tariffs is strong enough that even legacy hardware. I thought they said these tariffs were illegal. I guess it doesn't matter. You can just do whatever you want. I'm just gonna keep saying yes, so Chat GPT gives me more things to talk about. I'd like to get some traction now. I feel like I've been doing this in general for too long, and I don't even have 500 subs yet. Yeah, exactly. Inflation and console price trends. Historically, prices fall over time, not rise. In the past, once a console has been on the market for a while, its price tends to drop because production costs fall, components get cheaper, economies of scale. This time around, it's unusual. Xbox, PlayStation, even Nintendo Switch have increased its price years after launch. That's never happened in the history of consoles. For example, adjusted for inflation, current console prices are much higher than launch prices. That should not this should not be legal to raise the price of something from more when it first came out 5 years ago. It came out in 2020 as $4.99, but I was in Canada. I mean, I am in Canada, so it was like $5.99 for me or something. So the price of a system that came out 5 years ago is $100 more. You shouldn't be like raising the price. You should be lowering it. I don't know what updates. They changing something again? I'm reading like the chat off a different screen because like when I go to my screen to read the chat, it does that stupid thing with the screen. I don't understand why it does that. It's because I don't know. Inflation over the past few years has been relatively high in many regions, particularly for electronics, raw materials, transport. So keeping the same nominal price means eroding margins. Aside from inflation, new import tariffs has significantly driven up costs. I don't know. The more when I think about that, I think, don't they build the consoles somewhere in Asia before they send it to the States? So if they're not, if it's how does that even work? They're not getting the components and sending them to the States to build the console. Or maybe they do build the consoles in the States, but I thought they build all consoles out of the country. So why would there be tariffs on the console itself? Do they count the components inside? No, that doesn't make sense. I don't get it. It's just greed. It's all it is. Shipping costs, supply chain disruptions, inflation of parts, semiconductors. Yeah, supply chain. Like maybe you're a country like called maybe I don't know South Korea, and then suddenly another country just kicks you out of their country, and then you can't do what you were there for. Same kind of thing. Supply chain. Things can get disrupted by ICE showing up at a plant full of brown people and arresting them all for being brown. And then there you go. All of a sudden, a part of your supply chain is just totally gone. Huh? Share views. What does that mean? If like you and I had 50 views each, we'd get 100 views? I don't understand. I don't know. I didn't even hear about this, but I don't know. I also saw something that I didn't like about to hear about YouTube just the other day is that I was hoping it wasn't true, but they're saying that you Google and Amazon are getting in on a deal with Israel for a $45 million deal of some sort. And I'm just like, why the fuck is anyone dealing with Israel? Like they're seriously committing genocide right now, but you guys are trying to have a deal with them. I don't even know what that means. And but I seriously can't quit YouTube. As awful as that sounds, I'm not going to quit YouTube. It's too good. I quit my Disney Plus though. I canceled my Disney Plus. Yeah, what does it mean for Canada, where I live? This place. Such a delay. Boo. Boo. Microsoft increased recommended retail price in Canada effective May 1st. The S was still 450, like or 450 now. That's like too high. So this digital version is up by 80 in many cases. Some SMH, some H. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure what SMH means. Things getting wild, but the link to the video in chat. SMH. Sorry, I don't know what that means. I don't mind me asking because D sounds like we're basically from the same era, but like Ray Ray is like 10 years younger, and I think are you too or not? I think I figure both you and Ray are about the same age. Maybe I'm just wrong. Because of U.S. inflation and the fact that Canada often sees additional cost increase, Canadian gamers might feel a sting more. 35, yeah. So you and Ray are around the same. I'm like I'm over 10 years older than you. I'm almost 15 years older than you. Almost. Even if a US console price goes up moderately after conversion, plus local retailer markup, plus currently fluctuations, the Canadian price can be quite large. For people buying with Canadian dollars, that means more strain on budgets. A console that costs $499 USD, yeah, USD is like 700-800. Mine wasn't that much when I bought it. I can't remember how much it was. I had a gift card for like $400, which is amazing because I always re-up my mobile plan at Best Buy, and I always get a gift card out of it. So they gave me a $400 gift card, and then I used that to buy my Series X. But I don't recall how much it was before I got the discount. Because even with 400 off, it still was like 100. So it was like $500+. Maybe I don't know. $499 doesn't translate to that. If plus, why would it say shipping? If you're not gonna, why would anyone in Canada want to order from US when you can buy it in store or order it from a Canadian fucking location? Hey, Noble Bull, where you been? $499 USD to Canada is not that much. Okay, it is pretty close. 687. That exchange rate between us is still retarded. It should be way different. But again, you're just ordering it. If you're in Canada, you're going to order your console from somewhere in Canada. Unless it's a special kind of console that you have to like order from America. But I don't want to order shit from America right now. When Microsoft adds $80 or more, it's more noticeable percentage increase for many buyers. What consumers might see: slower price jumps after launch. What do you mean launch? Launch of what? We're still a year or two away from like any new consoles. And it still feels like it's too early for a new console. Where before you might expect a few years to see discounts or last gen deals, those may be delayed or less deep. Older consoles that used to get discounted heavily may stay closer to their elevated prices due to the cost flow from tariffs and parts. Accessory prices are going up. So the total cost of ownership controller's headset goes up, not just a bit. If you like, I can calculate what a current Xbox Series X or Series S should cost. That's interesting. So it's going to show me what it would cost without a psychotic orange person turning tariffs on and off for fun. So you can see how much it would cost. So see how much this person's psychotic behavior is adding to the prices. Do you want me to run the numbers for you? Yes. Key data points. The Xbox Series X launched in 2020 November, $499. Inflation from 2025 to 2025 been 3.39. The USD CAD exchange rate is in place since imports manufacturing costs involve US doll hairs. What price would be only if inflation and exchange? Convert the launch price to CAD at today's rate, $4.99, 688. Adjust that 18.4 for cumulative inflation, aka a psychotic person. 813. So if Microsoft had just kept pace with Canadian inflation since 2020, a fair inflation adjusted price for the Series X is still too high. Canada's retail price increase for the Series X has pushed many models to significantly above launch price. As launch price plus inflation, retail and Microsoft pricing in Canada for Series X is often higher than what the above calculation suggests. Exact recent official CAD launch and inflation comparison data is harder to nail down publicly, but the gap is non-trivial. Previously in 2025, the Series S 1 terabyte was raised to $449. Okay, I'm not really sure what I'm doing anymore. I'm just kind of babbling. I still wish I don't get why I can't just see everybody in the show. See, it says 7 people, but I don't know where to look to see who those 7 people are. I'm dumb. Estimated inflation only price. My God, that's yeah. This is Canadian prices, but look how expensive it is for us here now. If I wanted to buy an Xbox Series X now, even refurbished, the Series S would be 460. Who the fuck would want to pay that much for a refurbished? Look, the regular 1 terabyte, which is what I have, is now $730. That's 200 more than what it was when I bought it. I think it was $529 when I bought it. Series X 2 terabyte, $879. Like that's not far off from 900. Even with taxes in, that could come to like 900. This is how much Series X's and Series S's cost in my country. And it's all because of your president. I don't care. Anyone says it's your president's fault that everything costs more. Thank God I already have my console, but what does that mean for the next console? And how much is the ROG Ally X going to cost forever? Because I wouldn't mind getting one, not at launch, that's for sure, but I could see myself getting a ROG Ally X eventually, but only when it goes on sale. But it'll be on sale for the price that it should be in the first place. There's 8 people in the chat. Does anyone who knows what they're doing can show me who else is here watching? Because I don't know how to figure that out. Okay, 8 of those people are actually me on my other devices. I'm not going to lie. Maybe that's going to get me in trouble. But I have my show on playing on my phone through a different account. Maybe that's illegal. You don't be here. Illegal. I'm just going to tell it to share the window I had open so it stops doing that. Come over here. I think that's what it is. Yeah. I can look at my chat without my screen going fucky fucky. Top fans. But I go to participants and it just shows me. What does that mean? I'm in. It's my own show. Why are they even counting me as a participant? It's naked GPT. Did I open that? Fuck, I probably shouldn't open that. Yeah, we don't want to get in trouble. Oh shit! Go back. How do I see how many are watching my YouTube stream? Engagement tab? What engagement tab? Problem is I have two different browsers open and now I'm getting confused with which one I have. All right, I'm stuck. I don't know what else to talk about anymore, considering that these but there's like 8 people here. What do you guys want to talk about? Who else is in the chat? I don't know how to figure out who else is here. Someone tell me how to figure it out. I have to have my YouTube studio thing open at the same time to see that or something. Content, live tab. It seems like a thing that I should just be able to do. I don't know. Is it going to give me analytics for that? No, that's not what I'm trying to do. Select the live tab. Select analytics on the live stream. On the actual stream itself, I guess. Oh, yeah, right there. Duh. Audience. Still not saying who's watching. I want someone type in the chat so I know who's here. I'm looking at the analytics of this actual stream right now on my YouTube page. But you still see me looking at this chat GPT screen. What is the most recent news about video game adaptations? Adaptations. Point. None of this is news to me, anyways. I just asked ChatGPT, what's the most recent news? This isn't all that recent. Oh, this is only a couple days ago. I guess maybe I missed this one because I'm stupid. I could read the article now. The Super Mario Galaxy, I knew that. I talked about that last week. The Elden Ring, I knew about that. Helldivers 2, Horizon Town, I knew about that. But this new update on Resident Evil, I missed out. And that's a bad on me. But now I can talk because I'm here. So this is pretty interesting that Weapons and Barbarian director, Weapons, which I still haven't seen, but people are saying is pretty good. So I'm definitely going to see it eventually. And Barbarian I saw, and that was pretty good. I like that. So the director is Zach Kreger. Essentially says he's making a Zach Kreger horror movie within a giant IP. Now, I'm mad at myself for missing this because I'm definitely interested in Resident Evil, and I was saying to myself not that long ago that they should just reboot the entire Resident Evil series. Forget those shitty ass Mila Jovovich movies that were some decent, some bad. But over here on Entertainment Weekly, the full article says after making Barbarian and Weapons, both of which became overnight sensations, director Zach Kreger is still determined to make original horror movies. It just so happens that his next one is set in the world of Resident Evil. See, when did this happen? I missed the part where they announced that he was directing it. No. I don't see anything about the announcement he was a director. It's an entirely original story Kreger shared with Entertainment Weekly about the upcoming film. Upcoming? Have they even started production yet? I don't think so, considering we don't know anything about it, apparently. Not yet, anyways. When you watch it, you'll be like, this is very Zach. Dude, you've made 2 movies. Don't get all up in your balls already. You made 2 movies, they're pretty good, but it already sounds like you're getting full of yourself. Oh my god, this is so Zach. It's just that. It takes place in a Resident Evil world. I don't think fans of those games are going to be bummed. The filmmaker speaks with EW for the upcoming home release of Weapons. Austin Abrams, one of the stars from that movie, will lead the cast of Resident Evil. Paul Walter Hauser, who recently appeared as Mole Man in the Fantastic Four First Steps, which I haven't seen yet, also joined the cast. When the hell did all this get announced? How did I fucking miss an entire thing? Like, I knew that they were like working on something, but I'm missing out the fact that they have casting. So this is the guy who's going to be playing who? Leon? Will lead the cast of Resident Evil. But it just says lead. Is it going to be Leon? And Paul Walter Hauser, who recently appeared as Mole Man. Damn, I have to do a proper video of this now. Mole Man, right, that guy. He's been like slowly gaining in popularity within the past few years. I'm not going to steal Leon and put him in an original story. I think that would be presumptuous, Kreger continues, referring to fan favorite Resident Evil character Leon S. Kennedy. But I respect the games enough where I'm going to tell a Resident Evil story in the Resident Evil canon that still leaves everything they love intact. Yeah, this is just exactly what Fallout did. To just take the games and make a new game, but have it still be the same, game. Kreger admits he can't say too much about it at this stage, but says, I think that when you see it, you'll understand how I can be obsessed with original ideas and still make a movie that is an IP-based thing. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense now, but I hope it will later. In terms of the character Abram plays, Kreger only teases, he's so right for the role. He's talking about Austin Abrams here, who I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything, but he's so right for the role of Resident Evil, but they're not saying who. So they're going to say they're going to create a new character. Definitely feels like they're going to do the whole Fallout route and just make their own story. Krager knew Abrams was this kind of actor when he saw a 29-year-old on screen in 27 dramedy Brad status playing the son of Ben Stiller's character. How is this kid so good in this effortless? The director remembers thinking. I've never seen him before. I've always been looking for him, and anytime he'd pop up anything, I just like, he's doing it again. He describes his time with Abrams and Weapons, in which he played a drug-addicted homeless guy, as a total blast. Austin and I just had a wicked time together, where every shot he'd run over and he'd watch the playback and just cackle. Krager remembers there was a charge in the air that was really fun. Resident Evil is on the calendar for release September 18th, so that's like a year from now. That's a pretty short turnaround. So I really need to do a full-on video about this now and everything that's out there about this new Resident Evil movie, because they're planning on having it come out in a year, and have they even started shooting it yet? I mean, you could shoot an entire movie and post it in a year, but it's still pretty tight. The various games focus on different characters, but the original concept was a survival horror premise involving a zombie-like outbreak caused by the Umbrella Corporation. The original Milla Jovovich-led movie series are the most notable of the Resident Evil adaptations. A 2021 film, Welcome to Raccoon City, sought to change it up by more closely adapting the events of the games, though it did not make much of an impression at the box office. And then Netflix released the totally abysmal live-action version in 2022, and it was so bad that they didn't have another season. Thing from EW, which I have to do an entire video of now because I was not hearing that they had gotten this far with the story, but I want to chat GPT stuff just to see what comes up. It's pretty much the same thing it said, but how about what is everything currently known about the upcoming live action Resident Evil movie? I'm just seeing if this gives me more than what I just read in the article. See, it's funny that they are going for a reboot, because I was just talking about Resident Evil not that long ago in a video where I was talking about games that should be adapted. And I mentioned a bunch of new games that haven't been done, but then I also said that they should just reboot Resident Evil. And then they heard me, and that's what they're doing. So they stole my idea. I'm going to sue these guys for $15 billion. Sony Pictures is distributing reboot new version produced in cooperation with Constantine Film and PlayStation Productions. An entirely new story set in the Resident Evil universe. It won't feature major iconic characters from the game, such as Leon S. Kennedy. I don't know, new character protagonists. I don't see why they couldn't just still go with Leon, or are they don't want to canon? They don't want to F with Leon in any kind of canon kind of way. More horror orientated, closer to the games. Krager says he's played thousands and thousands of hours of Resident Evil games, wants the pacing and tone to reflect those. Will be obedient to the lore, though not slavishly following every game event. According, it will feel very Zack, because everyone knows exactly who you are now as a director after doing 2 movies. Austin Abrams and Paul Walker Hauser. So filming is going to start in Prague in October 2025. So next month they're going to start filming, and which means they have basically less than a year to post-production because they're starting filming in October. Filming could be at least a month or more. So they'll likely have the filming done sometime before the end of this year. I mean, it's a live action movie, so it's not a show. So a show would obviously take way longer to shoot. So if it's a movie, movies averagely shoot in like a month or so. But we'll give them 2 months. So say they finish filming December 2025. That gives them 10 and a half months ish to release. And I guess 10 and a half months is a pretty good turnaround. I'm still like amazed at how they're having Fallout Season 2 in December when Season 1 came out April of last year. So that's a year and a half turnaround. And I can't wait to watch that. What's still unknown? Exact plot and storyline. So where does this based on? Only loose details are known. Some outlets mention a premise, like a courier delivering a package to a remote hospital during an outbreak and getting trapped, needing to fight mutated creatures. But this is not confirmed across all sources. Krager said it will be obedient to the lore, meaning it will respect foundational game worlds, but may not stick to every detail. What gets altered or omitted is not fully known. Beyond Austin Abrams and Paul Walker Hauser, the full cast has not been publicly revealed. Budget. No confirmed budget disclosed yet. How canonical will this be? Unclear whether it will tie into certain games more than others, or if it introduces entirely new lore threads. Also, whether fans will view it as a parallel continuity or something more official. Aside from mutated creatures, extent of horror versus action. Krager's comments suggest more horror, more descent into hell, less action spectacle that past RE movies. But how much gore, suspense, survival, horror elements versus blockbuster movie tropes are still to be seen. Who is in the chat? Type your name. I don't know how to look. Unless someone knows how to find that. I cannot figure it out. I don't get it. Why doesn't my video analytics say who's in it? Traffic sources, browse features. Huh. I'm just looking at my analytics now. It's like 100% is from just people finding it. Like, I guess if you're a sub to me, it'll show up somewhere. And if you're not sub to me, please do. Interesting, notable angles. Krager has admitted he hasn't seen the previous live-action movies, so his influences are more from the games than the movie franchise. That's probably a good idea. I remember thinking the very first Resident Evil film was okay, but I don't think I watched any after that, and I figured they were generally all pretty bad. This might help avoid being overly influenced by weakness of older adaptations. The original story route with new protag, new characters, may help avoid comparisons, for good or bad, to specific game plot, which often becomes points of contention amongst fans when adaptations diverge. By saying he won't steal established characters, Krager is setting expectations that fans shouldn't expect familiar faces. That could be a way to manage risk, but also prevents risks. Fans who want to see these characters may be disappointed. If you like, I can pull up a timeline. See, this is what I was saying just then, kind of out loud. But they're, according to what ChatGPT thinks, they're expected to wrap by the end of January 2026. But what are they basing that on? Just basically what I based it on myself. Local incentives from Czech's audiovisual fund. Like, how do they know that? They know that they're getting local incentives. Czech audiovisual fund 25% rebate. That's why they shoot movies where they shoot. They do shoot a lot of movies in like the Czech Republic type area. Oh damn, Robert Redford. Forgot about that one. Piece of that guy. Man, I really stepped on this news. I'm such an idiot. This was back on the September 4th, and they announced this guy was directing. When the hell did I miss that? I'm so bad at my job. I'm fired. I'm gonna fire myself. So according to this estimated milestone, which is pretty interesting to look at, that they would come up with that. But are they just basing all this on like previous information of how long an average production starts? Wrap up filming January to February, March. No. If they're starting in October, it's not going to take 3 months to film it, I don't think. Yeah, that's being way too. Jesus, what's the fucking word? That's being way too. I don't know. I'm just saying it's not going to take that long to shoot a film, unless it's definitely going to have special effects. That could add a bit more time, but I don't know. After principal photography ends, editing visual effects. Resolution films told to have monster gore and atmospherics, heavy VFX sound, so this periodic might be lengthy. I hope they try to do more practical and not over CGI everything. It's just too much of that. Marketing first teaser trailers. Typically, a first trailer or announcement drops 6 to 9 months before release. So expect trailers and posters around next year, summer 2026. Final cut, trailer release, summer of 2026. Yeah, we'll probably see a trailer next summer. Once enough production is done to show off effects, don't need full edge polish, but enough to tease visuals. Cinematic preview materials likely go out to festivals, presses, etc. If there were any reshoots, they seem to think it would be mid 2026, early mid, like spring. Yeah, reshoots and pickups are a thing that happens. So promotional push, 3 to 4 months before release. This is when big promotional materials, trailers, TV spots, interviews, push, etc. Summer into early fall 2026. Finishing, VFX, sound mixing, scoring, color grading, etc. Needed ahead of these September 2026. What to watch out for? No official title yet, but it's going to be like an original story. Maybe we'll just call it Resident Evil to signify that it simply is going to be a reboot. Resident Evil Rebirth? I don't know. Would that title make sense for anyone who has no clue what Resident Evil is? It makes sense to me and all the gaming guys, but I think they should just call it Resident Evil, and that's it. Rebirth would be like a title for a sequel if they were to make one. No. That was really interesting to see how it broke that down for me. All basing, I guess, basically basing all his information on past production timelines. But how long have I been on? An hour and 17. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up there. I'm still not good at this for planning what I'm even gonna talk about. I totally slept on all this Resident Evil news, and now I'm mad at myself. But now I need to make a full-on video about everything that exists information-wise about that now. So I just saw that while I was doing this, but I wanted to talk about mainly. I did talk about how much people gaming, but I did touch on how adaptations have helped spike big time in player engagement, which is awesome, and talked about this piece of shit, another price increase, which is just gross. And Microsoft sucks for doing that, and I kind of just wish they weren't the ones doing that, especially since they just did one in May, which is nuts to just do that so quickly with Sony and Nintendo doing the same thing. So I say it's greed, because in the end of the day, it really is all just greed, whether it's tariffs or not. It's all based on people's greed. So it's gross and it's unfortunate. But I actually need to go do some laundry now. So, Young Dreads, thanks a lot for watching. If you're still there, Noble Bull, if you're still watching, thanks. If you're gone, thanks for being here. If you haven't liked yet, please do. But that's it for me, all my friends. I'm gonna peace out. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to keep gaming.